Okay, at 7 o'clock, I'd like to call a meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just make a note that Councilman Harvey is absent tonight. Old business, approval of minutes. Regular meeting minutes of April 6, 2023 were provided for review. Need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 6, 2023 as presented.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Brungard,
Abstain.
Mr. Stednicka,
Abstain.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Abstain.
Motion
Miss-
passed?
Mr. Clemens.
Yes.
Passed anyway, yeah. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? I think, Steve, if you want to come up and say your name and where you live, just for the council.
My name is Stephen Lillard. I live at 15495 Roger Road in the county. I'm here tonight to make a pledge to nominate the new baseball fields as the David Trinkle Memorial Fields with his time served in the city. Some of his fellow classmates and longtime residents of Lansing have talked. We'd like to see something with David's name go down in Lansing history.
Okay. Yeah, and we talked earlier, we'll be setting up a committee to look at the different options. Probably three council members will sit on that.
Well,
You can.
Kevin and I have already
Okay.
agreed to be on it.
Anybody else wants to join in? But
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't, yeah.
Get Jason on it.
okay. Yeah, we'll take that one on too. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Steve. Appreciate you coming up. Presentation, National Library Proclamation. Dan, are you reading that? Okay. I'll give her this.
Today's libraries are not just books, but what they have for and with the people. Libraries of all types are the heart of the city, towns, schools, and campuses. Libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions where people of all backgrounds can be together and connect. Libraries and librarians build strong communities through transformative services, programs, and expertise. Libraries which promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all are cornerstone of democracy. Libraries promote civic engagements by keeping people informed and aware of community events and issues. Libraries and library workers partner with each other civic organizations to make sure the community needs are being met. Libraries and librarians empower their communities to make informed decisions by providing free access to information. Libraries are a resource for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status, by offering services and educational resources that transforms lives and strengthens communities. Libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Therefore, the City of Lansing, State of Kansas, proclaimed National Library Week, April 23rd through 29, 2023, and encourage all residents to visit the library this week and explore what's new at your library and engage with your librarian. Because of you, libraries transform.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you had to read it.
I just do this.
proclamation, Terry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotta take on it.
It's too much money.
It's not on the game. It was me.
Item number 4 is the library board reappointments.
Nope.
Actually, item number 3 is the approval of audit ending December 31st, 2022. Staff from the firm Adams Brown LLC performed an audit of the financial statements for the city of Lansing for the year ending December 31, 2022. A member of the firm will present a brief overview of the audit and answer any questions.
So we have Alexis here with us tonight, and then Danielle is also with us.
Okay, Alexis, you're on.
Okay, as Beth just said, my name is Alexis Crispin. I am a senior staff with Adams Brown. I'm the one who got to come out on site and hang out with all of your employees. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, let me know if you can see. Okay. So the first page I'm going to have you start on is page 1. It is our independent auditor's report. As you all know, this year you had waived GAAP basis and we performed the audit on the regulatory basis. So this is going to be one of the first things that we'll see that will look slightly different this year. On this page, you'll note that it says adverse and unmodified opinions. So the basis for that adverse opinion is simply because it's an opinion on GAAP basis and we waived that. So the true opinion is on the regulatory basis, which you guys had an unmodified opinion, which is a clean audit opinion. On to the next page, we have some responsibilities of management and auditors. I'd highly recommend reading those just to get a good grasp on what those are, but I will keep moving along. So this is our financial statement. This is the summary statement of receipts, expenditures, and unencumbered cash. Overall, you guys had an increase of 1.3 million about. Most of that was made up from a 610,000 increase in the general fund, a $756,000 decrease in the capital improvement fund, which was largely due to the K7 and Eisenhower project, a $786,000 increase in the ARPA fund, which was from that second round of money coming in, and then a $359,000 increase in the town center fund, which was coming from the sale of some land. Moving on, we're going to start with our notes to the financial statements, which begin on page 5. These are mostly going to be similar to what you've seen in the past. There are some differences with the change in accounting basis, especially since we won't have all of the disclosures for the balance sheet items. Down here, again, you'll note that we stated there's a change from GAAP basis to regulatory basis. Moving on down, there's nothing really that I would draw your attention to until we get down to note 9, which is stewardship, compliance, and accountability. And the city did have a budget violation in the capital improvement fund. I know that you guys had amended that budget later in the year. It wasn't quite enough for all of the projects and encumbrances that fund had seen. Continuing down, the next thing is compensated absences, which is note 12. Regulatory basis, you do not have to book a liability for this. So this is just noting your guys' policies as far as compensated absences go. So that's another difference with the change in basis. Moving on down to long-term debt. You guys have a total of $24,794,886 to be paid off, and that will be paid off by 2042. And then we get down to the summary of expenditures, actual and budget. So this is where, again, I had noted there was a capital improvement violation budget And then after that, we get on down to each of the individual funds, which I'm not going to go through all of them because it's pretty great reading if you want to fall asleep at night. But otherwise, you're free to take a look and let us know if you have any questions about any individual funds. At this time, I have a couple other things to go over, but does anyone have questions about the financial statements?
So the $450,000 that were excess, is that because we didn't transfer it out in time, or are you doing such a great job, we're saving $450,000 and we're not supposed to do that?
So that 450,000, with your budget amendment, you guys had gone from, you had basically increased your resources available by 1.28 million, and you only increased your budgeted expenditures by 709,000. So we could have, there was still some wiggle room that we could have increased that budgeted expenditure amount and still maintained where we had initially done the budget to end at, I believe it was 88,000 in unencumbered cash or something like that. And with that amended budget, you guys were sitting at like 660,000 or so. So there was a little bit of additional room with all of the added, you added in the reimbursements that you were receiving, and then also your starting cash was higher.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I am going to move over to the governance letter. Let me know if you can see that, or do I need to switch? Essentially, this letter is just going to go over any difficulties encountered, any disagreements with management, any recommendations we'd have. We didn't have any of those. Your staff are doing great. They're all wonderful to work with, and nothing that we would recommend being implemented at this time. Next and final thing I'm going to go over is the examination procedures letter that you should have received. So in a normal year, if you were over 750,000 in federal expenditures, you would have to have a single audit. There was an exception because of all of the ARPA money coming in, where if you're only over that $750,000 threshold because of the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery fund program, there's an exception to where you can just have an examination. It's still pretty similar as far as the testing and procedures and everything goes, but the report itself does not look like what a normal single audit would look like. So with a single audit, you'd have a CFA, you'd have 2 different letters, you'd have notes to the CFA. With this, it's just 1 letter. If we had any issues or deficiencies, it would go in here. There were none, so pretty short and sweet. Does anybody have any questions for me on that?
Anybody on the council have a question?
So the bottom line is they did a great job.
Yes. Yes, and again, they were wonderful to work with.
Thank you.
Okay, if you guys don't have any other questions for me, we just want to thank you guys for this opportunity to continue working with you. And I believe there will be a vote to approve the audit, but we also have a management representation letter that I've sent to Beth that'll need to be signed and sent back to us whenever possible.
All right. Thanks, Alexis. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, Beth?
No.
Okay.
That was good.
All right. Item number 4 is the library board reappointments.
There is a motion there, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a motion on the table.
Motion to approve the final audit for the city of Lansing for the year ending December 31st, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We already had discussion, so call a roll.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Stednicka?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Thanks. Item number 4 is the library board reappointments. Timothy Moran and Ellen Hannon have applied for reappointment to the Lansing Community Library Board to serve another 4-year term ending on 30 April 2027. So I need a motion to approve the Lansing Community Library Advisory Board reappointments of Timothy Moran and Ellen Hannon to fill the terms ending on April 30th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Just so you know, they're both working right now. So that's great. Any discussion on this? No? Call roll.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Clements?
Yes.
The motion passed. Item number 5 is the Planning Commission Board reappointments. Richard Hannon, Nancy McDougall, and Michael Suazo have applied for reappointments to the Lansing Planning Commission to serve 3-year terms ending on 30 April 2026. So I need a motion to approve the Lansing Planning Commission reappointments for Richard Hannon, Nancy McDougall, and Michael Suazo for terms ending on April 30th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No? Call roll.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Clements?
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 6 is executive session attorney-client privilege. I need a motion to go into executive session for consultation with the attorney for the city, which would be deemed privileged in an attorney-client relationship under KSA 75-4319 Bravo 2 for a period of 20 minutes, starting at 7:16 and ending at 7:36.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call roll.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Clements?
Yes.
So, make a motion that we return to open session?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to return to open session at 7:36 and 59 seconds. Call the roll.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Clements?
Yes.
We're back in open session. So, any reports from the department heads? Oh, city attorney?
Nothing to report.
Tim?
So you guys might recall in November when Dr. Mosier was here talking about Kansas City, Kansas Community College, he referenced putting up a semi with a wrap around it to advertise the college coming. They'd spoken to us recently, and we double checked on that. Something like that wouldn't be permitted in our sign rules. So they were looking at a really large sign, to get people excited, to get people knowing that KCCC is coming to Lansing, and I think they think that helped with fundraising also. The sign that they're proposing is a little bit bigger than our rules would allow, and also normal signs like that would only be permitted for 90 days. So I think they wanted to just ensure that we are okay with the sign, being up there advertising their college longer than 90 days. So I wanted to verify you guys were okay with that.
Yeah,
So.
this is a little different from normal, like, elections and that kind of thing, so.
Yeah.
This should be treated different.
Okay, good. One thing, if you guys might recall, at the beginning of COVID, when that was going on, I know one of the things the governing body here mentioned was anything that we can do to help out, we need to be doing. One of the organizations we partnered with was the Community Blood Bank, so we've been letting them rent the community center at no charge for the last couple of years. Out of all of the times they've rented the basement, they've generated 548 units of blood, and each unit of blood can help up to 3 people. So I know the Community Blood Bank and that group of folks is really thankful to the City Council for doing that, and I think they're planning on continuing to do that, especially now that there's a pretty serious blood shortage. One thing that somebody had mentioned to me a while back that I hadn't really thought about, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we did a strategic planning session on a Saturday. I think it was right before Mr. Major came on the city council. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to do some type of strategic planning session at a future council meeting, or if we want to do it on a Saturday, or if we want to wait until January if there's any turnover or anything. Don't really need an answer tonight, but maybe be thinking about that if we want to do maybe a 3 or 4 hour strategic planning session on some night. So
Wait till the election's over, at least.
you think maybe wait
November.
until
Yeah.
January, maybe? Okay. And then, I know you guys are probably going to be saying a lot of these things also, but, just a really tough couple of weeks for the Lansing community. Mr. Young, one of the founders of Lansing, just a pillar of our community, losing him, and then losing Mr. Trinkle, losing Jeff Folk. It's been it's been tough. We think about all the interesting conversations we would have, and what I wouldn't give to hear Dave ask Jeff if there was enough salt in the salt shed or anything like that again.
Were the windows powered?
Yeah.
Electric windows.
Yep. So, all of those guys will definitely be missed. So that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Tim. Okay, we'll go around the horn, starting with Carrie.
Beth, congratulations.
Thank you.
Outstanding job. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thanks. Don?
All right, thank you, Mayor.
All right, Kevin?
Yes, Beth, another amazing job. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'd like to acknowledge Terry, her staff, and all the supporters over at the library this week, and also Tish. It's a municipal court clerk week. Thank you for getting me started for what you do. And also I got to see Sarah, who was previously the city clerk. I got to say hi to her, and also Amber, who was here in 2014. So, and we took a tour of the ball fields. We got to go inside. Obviously, everything looks great out there, but I'd like the spectators to know that they can experience a massive increase in parking, a concession stand, very visible right as you walk in the ballpark, so you can grab your stuff before you even go sit down, and it's also a covered area for those who want to sit and eat. The seating is equal on both sides. First and third base sides is equal. The seating is easily accessible for everybody, and it is also shaded. And there's room for chairs up and down the fields, and there's restrooms on both sides. So massive, massive improvements from what we've grown up with. So, and again, yes, we lost 3 significant people in a short amount of time that were crucial to Lansing's growth. So we'll miss all of them. That's all.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Gene?
I agree with everything said, Beth, Terry, everybody that works for the city. I appreciate all your hard work, and that's all I have.
Thanks. Marcus?
Yeah, I just want to highlight that all the work that went in for Clearwave. So I've got a lot of neighbors that stop and talk to me as I'm walking my dogs throughout the neighborhood and then driving by and looking at other areas. But that Clearwave has really made a big impact, and there's been a lot of goodness. And I mean, that's a great thing we as a council did to our community, is bring that 5G in. And I can't thank the staff and everybody for all the hard work for doing that. Terry, Beth, Tish, great job. Really, really, really happy for you. Congratulations. And thanks for our volunteers, for the library board and the planning commission board. Thank you for those of you that are out there that can hear and see us. Thank you for your volunteers and your service. Mayor, that's all I've got.
All right, thanks, Marcus. Greg?
So, kind of on the opposite of what Marcus just said, I'm getting a lot of complaints in my neighborhood because AT&T and Clearwave have not lived up to their part of the bargain with reseating. I had multiple people stop me this week. I don't know if we have contact with them or what the policy is. But if you didn't get your yard reseeded like you were supposed to, please let us know so we can contact them.
Just for my own information, when was that reseeding supposed to start? because
So I mean, one of the crews is in town right now,
Yeah.
so I
Okay.
know there's,
They did my neighborhood.
Yeah,
I think they're just starting. Because they
yeah,
said they weren't going to do it during the winter because it would be kind of.
They did.
They did an initial one in the winter and said they're going to wait until it starts thawing out.
They're
but,
putting
but I've gotten
dirt and
fix-it
seed.
forms from your neighborhoods
Okay.
as well, and we pass that on, and one thing that I've mentioned to folks also is, you know, we did have that performance bond from both of those companies, and we're retaining that. I think it's a $10,000 bond from each one until soil restoration takes place. So I mean, they certainly have a financial incentive to get it right. They have a financial incentive to come back. So we're holding on to those.
Because my mud spot washed out, now it's about 3 inches deep after last night's rain.
Okay.
But, again, Beth, great job to you and your staff, everybody on the staff. And because it's National Library Week next week, on this day in 1841, the very first detective story, Murders in the Rue Morgue, was published by Edgar Allan Poe. Mayor, that's all I have.
You got a copy of that, Greg? Dan?
I'd like to echo with Beth, Terry, and Trish. Thank you for everything you've done, and with all of our volunteers. Just for the board's information, 14 April, we kicked off the Leavenworth County Port Authority Land Search, purpose of which is to recommend sites for business areas within Leavenworth County. We are combining it with the traffic study and the other things the state's doing, and it's our intent to do exactly what they said, is come together with a county proposal, and we're going to be bringing in experts and stuff of that nature. So no agenda or anything on the first one, it's just get to know you and establish the goals and everything. We also had an LCPA meeting Tuesday this week. I handed a clean packet to Trish. I've asked her to include it with the work session agenda. And not that I'm going to be discussing it, just so you can look it over. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I was elected treasurer of the LCPA as well. That's, with that, Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Call roll.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Stendika?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
We are adjourned.